but I want to give my real answer. Say it with me, everybody.
Animal House.
Animorphs.
And I wasn't actually going to pick this, but when I was talking about it with Shane, he was just like, why not say anime? And I was like, I don't know. And he's like, well, I think people would want to know like why you like it. And I think that's fair. I like watched a little bit of it in high school, but sort of fell off throughout my college years. And it wasn't until about a year or two ago that I sort of rediscovered it and was just like, oh, I really dig this. And I know it can be like a little bit cringy, and that's why I listened to.
Do you think that's why you stopped watching it, or you weren't watching it because you felt like judgment from other people that...
I'd say that's probably part of it, but I think now I'm in a space where like whatever I like, whatever I want to do, I don't really care what other people think.
Exactly.
And it's kind of cool. But I think the thing that really resonates with me is the stories that I'm seeing and hearing are just so different from what I would otherwise get. Like, how many times have we turned on like regular cable TV and it's just like, she's the best cop on the force and no one gives her a chance, but the one person she couldn't catch is her ex-husband. And it's just like the same story over and over again. Every medical show you watch is literally filmed in the same hospital set in Los Angeles. Like, it's all the flipping
Every
same.
high school series that there's murder for some reason.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
It's literally all the same. And this is the first time it's been like, for me, these random stories that you'd never think of. Someone's creativity is the only limitation, because animating a dragon is the same as animating a person. I don't think one costs more than the other. Game of Thrones, amazing, yes, but so high budget, and the only way we can ever get that story is breaking the bank of HBO and making that happen. But anime, like, I turn on a new one every day, and I'm like, oh my God, what a cool concept.
There are
like,
so many, and all of them are so insane.
Yeah.
Like, they're taking, there's things that you would never even think of, right? Whereas, like, fantasy in Western, like, TV, you're always going to be like, well, I've kind of seen this premise before, whatever. There are some animes where I'm like, who thought of this? Like, you were telling me about the one, it's like, yeah, this guy, he's like 30 years old, he dies, and he is reincarnated as a slime in a fantasy world. And I'm just like, hold up. It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, that's a premise of a show.
And they literally get into it like that, and they're like, let's explore this world and have fun. But there's also one where it's like, Tommy Bow, I think, recommended this one to me. It's these kids trying to escape from an orphanage, and they have a very good reason to do so, and I'm not going to like tell you why, but it's a full season of them trying to figure out how to escape from the orphanage. And also they come to the realization of like, we can't just do this ourselves. There are all these like 3 or 4 year olds that are, you know, young here too. We have to take them with us. So it's this whole like escape heist situation across a season. And I'm like, how cool. How cool.
Something you pointed out about anime that I think is really cool, and it's something that I really enjoy about it. Anime is honestly very motivating for me because you notice in anime the difference in Japanese culture compared to Western culture.
That's part of it too.
Western culture, our TV shows, our movies are very often, this is who you are. You are this person. That you are who you are, right? Whereas in anime and stuff, the vibe is very different. It's if you train and work hard, you can become something better.
What about Rocky?
I mean, honestly, I would say sports movies are the closest thing to anime.
Totally. That's why so many athletes
a lot of
nowadays
animes
love anime.
One of my favorite animes recently is Megalo Box, and it's about this guy it's like a future dystopian world where like people who have mechanical upgrades box, and this one guy, his like breaks, and he's like, you know what, I'm going to do it without the upgrades, and it's one of the coolest. It's literally a Rocky movie in anime, and it's so cool, and it's so about, and he eventually goes like, there's like the ultimate champion who's like jealous of him because he's fighting without these upgrades. What am I?
Champion, like all
He's got like
upgrades?
super upgrades that are like implanted into his body, and he's like, he like looks at this guy, he's like, even though he's so much better, he's like jealous because he's like, he's doing without upgrades. He's just so good.
Yeah.
I need to become like that. And I'm like,
pushing each other.
That's awesome. Whereas like you look at any TV show, I feel like in America, it's very much like, I am this person. I am the chosen one.
Yeah.
Like, I was born this way.
And I think that's also part of like why I've sort of felt a resurgence of enjoying it, right? Because I think when you say anime, if someone's not into it, they're probably thinking of the same old like Dragon Ball Z, the Naruto of like, I'm going to train and do my best, blasting lasers and all. But in reality, it's just a way of presenting a story. It's like somebody saying like, oh, I don't like animated films. I never watch Disney or Pixar or anything. I just don't like that. And you'd be like, oh, okay, you're not going to give any of them a chance. It's the same way with anime. They're like lawyer dramas. There are like pick a genre, and it's just presented in this specific way of animation, and that's it.
Yeah.
So that's why I've been enjoying it. It's like if you discovered a brand new Netflix where there's all shows that you haven't seen before, and I'm just like, great, wind it up. Let's check it out.
There's some awesome stuff. I did want to tell you, Damien's been trying to get me to watch this one anime forever called Demon Slayer.
Oh, it's the best out there right now.
Yeah.
I know it's a like stereotypical name, but like
It's really
No,
good.
it's really cool, and it's really dark.
Did you start watching it?
Because Damien's been telling me to watch it for so long, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna watch the whole thing before I tell him I've watched it. So I've watched all of it.
what?
Yeah.
Shane! What?
Well, okay, so I'm like 3 episodes behind right now. But
I've been wanting to talk about it with someone.
But I was like, you know what? He could talk to me about like each episode. I'm like, or I could just watch the whole thing and then we could talk about it all.
Nice.
So I've watched it. Yeah, I've watched it all. So literally the other day, he was like telling me about something. He's like, but I don't want to spoil it. And I already knew the thing. So I was like, oh yeah, cool. And then I was like, wait.
Like a lie.
Well, I was just waiting to watch the whole thing, and now I've watched the whole show. Now we can talk about, because I was like, you know what? How cool would it be if I was telling someone about like a show I like, and I was like, please watch it. And then I found out the next day, they're like, yeah, I've seen all of it. And now I'm like, we can talk about all of it. That was my mindset.
I don't know how far
I was doing it as like a gift.
He mad.
I was doing it as a nice thing.
When did you start?
A couple weeks ago.
But then we would have been at the same space.
Did you start when I told you I started watching it?
I'd already been watching it.
Oh, you had.
You're
Okay.
watching it too?
Yeah. I told you I watched it.
I watched it.
It's very cool.
Demon Slayer is good.
It's really good.
Like it's still like, there are like anime tropes that it's really hard to pull out of those, but I think Demon Slayer is definitely one of the better animes that I've seen.
There are 3 animes currently that I'm into. Attack on Titan, which is like the super dark, gritty one.
Yeah.
My Hero Academia, which is like the Marvel. It's the Marvel of anime.
X-Men.
It's X-Men. It's literally X-Men. It's a world where a bunch of people have superpowers, and there's a school where you go to hone your superpowers.
Yeah.
It is X-Men, but I actually enjoy it more than X-Men because they do a lot of things I think that X-Men should do.
Well, and what's the studio that does My Hero?
I actually don't know.
What's the
Is it Funimation?
What's the no? They're the people that dub it, right? What's the style?
Shonen?
Yeah, shonen.
Shonen, yeah.
Yeah, it's where it's
that
like
type of-
it's a little annoying that I understand, like, because animation costs so much, they have to do a lot of flashbacks. But as like I don't want to see the same thing repeated over and over again.
I don't mind it because there's so much going on, so much information
Yeah.
that I actually don't mind it.
But
But
sometimes in anime, I feel like they're just like wasting time and like running the clock till they can
there's
get to
also
the awesome thing.
500 episodes,
Yeah.
as opposed to 10 episodes
That's
per
true.
season. They
That's
could just
very
do
true.
10 episodes and have it, but instead they're like, here's 35 per season.
take
But
it.
could they put all the good stuff in 10 episodes and then you don't have to waste more time?
I also enjoy, as opposed to most TV shows where I'm like, I get 10 episodes and I'll get a new season in 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, anime gets to be this continuous thing.
like One Punch Man?
Well, yeah, there's that.
We don't talk about season 2 in this household.
But My Hero Academia is some of the most fun I've had watching TV. Like the whole basis of All Might is such a genius superhero idea that Marvel and DC has never done, but they did it in anime. Which is just like, I don't want to spoil it because it's
just
such
watch
a good
it
character.
and tweet me about it.
It's such a fun show.
Yeah.
Anyways.
I think My Hero Academia is probably my favorite anime.
I think it's what got me back into it because I remember I started working at Defy and then there were like 3 different people who were like, you got to watch the show. You'd love it. And I'd be like, I haven't seen anime stuff in a while. Like, I don't know. And then I did and I was just like drooling for the next
I think
episode.
Attack on Titan and Cowboy Bebop is still like just has such
I
a
need to watch
special place
that.
in my heart because it's so different. That is a completely different thing of current
and
stuff.
apparently like the English dub is better than
the
the
English dub is super good. It's it's not anime. It basically isn't anime, right? Like it's done like a noir, like dark,
Cowboy
gritty.
Bebop?
Yeah.
Except for the guy outside the restaurant with the lobster. He's like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing, you punk? Get out of here!"
Wait,
Yeah.
that's from Cowboy
That's
Bebop.
Cowboy
There's
Bebop,
there's
isn't it?
that, yeah. Or wait, no, it's not from Cowboy
not from
Bebop.
Cowboy
I think I
Bebop?
remember
I didn't think
I was
so,
like,
yeah.
that's
Okay.
not from Cowboy Bebop.
I'll kick your ass, you little
You little
squirt.
punk. Hey, what are you flipping me off? I'll take this.
Yeah.
He's like a big buff guy.
Clearly, they were like, so the voice actor that was supposed to do this
dropped
died
out.
this morning.
Just now.
Can you please?
He's dead in the booth. Please
Trevor,
stand on his
in,
body.
in the office, can you just come on in and just read this?
Yeah.
I don't remember a lot of my childhood, but I don't know why. It's just like hard to look back and remember. But I do have like a lot of random memories, like
Speed Racer.
My Speed Racer, but that's the first anime I ever watched was Speed Racer. But my older sister, Kat, who's like the nerdy one. I mean, that's
I
the
like
thing.
Sailor Moon.
That's the thing. She watched a lot, and like it was such a big family. I'd always just kind of sit down whenever the family was watching or she was watching. I was there. So there was Dragon Ball Z, there was Naruto, there was Inuyasha, Sailor Moon. Bo.
Yeah.
I think some Cowboy Bebop, like a lot that I'm just like, oh yeah, I know that character, but like I don't know the name of the show or stuff like that.
Right.
Watched a lot of Speed Racer. I love Speed Racer. I like want to make it popular again. Not the live action movie. Fuck that dirt. Garbage.
Whoa. A lot of people actually
Speed
like it.
Racer. That's
I
Ego
couldn't get through
Raptor's
it.
favorite movie.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite movie.
I'm currently watching Cowboy Bebop, and it's because I love cartoons. Like Archer was amazing to me. Obviously Rick and Morty and
The
stuff
Hot
like that.
Wheels movie.
Hot Wheels movie. That's CG, so different. But yeah, and Cowboy Bebop's awesome. I love noir style. Like Archer was also like that too. So it's dope.
Yeah. Cool. I think I think the anime that got me back into anime was One Punch Man.
It's great.
Like Ethan Klein showed me that. Like we were hanging
Really?
out. We were hanging out at his house, and he's like, "Have you seen One Punch Man?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "Dude," and I had already heard about it. 'Cause
Right.
It's funny as hell.
Some people were watching
It's
it, and I
super
was like,
funny.
I think we sat there and watched like the first 5 episodes through.
It's
Wow.
great. It's
The
a great
concept for
show.
those out there are like there's a superhero who his power is he can defeat anything in one punch, and because of that he's incredibly bored and depressed all the time.
He's
because
super
nothing's
miserable.
a challenge. Like he's anytime something shows up, he's like, oh my god, finally I'm gonna have like an epic fight. Poof, and it just turns into dust. And he's
Yeah.
like, no,
And
no.
and it essentially the show is just a series of that. He's also a punchline.
Yes.
And which is kind of the irony is like
One
like
punch.
an anime. They do the anime thing where for 5 episodes they'll build up like
Someone else is
I have
fighting
shown
it.
up from another dimension. I am a demon god, and it's just like he's just destroying half the
Yeah.
planet like with ease. And then One Punch Man shows up and just like pop, and you're just like, oh, it was all for a joke.
His special attack is like normal punch.
Yeah, normal consecutive
Consecutive normal punches.
Because I was watching season 2, and I think a lot of people had a problem with season 2 because it took them like 3 years to make it. The animation leads left for a different project, or they went to a completely different studio, and also like you could only continue that gimmick of big strong guy shows up, One Punch Man, you think he's
Right.
gonna get beat, and then
I feel
he
like it was
beats him.
perfect for one
So
season.
they needed to expand it and bring in new characters. So I understand what they did. It's just not as I think the story's better, but it's not as entertaining as the first one was. And then I went back and watched that final fight scene from the first season, and I was like, holy
Whoa,
shit.
I missed this. Yeah.
It was way cool.
If you want more of that, the same creator instead made Mob Psycho 100.
Oh yeah, you're trying to get me to watch that. Yeah.
You'd really love it because it's literally like they made One Punch Man and they were like, oh, this isn't sustainable. What's a sustainable show I can make with this kind of concept? And it is the same action and stuff from One Punch Man, except it's just about instead of like a depressed man, it's about like this socially awkward like 8th grader who is just a really strong psychic, and it's the same thing. He's just kind of depressed. He's like, I don't know how to talk to people, but he's incredibly powerful.
That's awesome.
And they've already made 2 seasons, and they're clearly continuing it well. So.
Thank you for watching this week's highlight clip.
The full audio episode is available now wherever podcasts are found, or you can just click the links below.
The full video episode comes out on Fridays, so be sure to subscribe and punch that bell.
To watch our most recent episode, click that box on the right.
And also check out our clothing line at Smosh.store.